without having any one place where there's a master list or a master coordination.
What this means is that, in fighting file sharing, the entertainment industry is fighting the fundamental structure of the internet.
Short of redesigning and re-engineering either the internet or the devices we use to interact with the internet, there's nothing that Hollywood or Washington or Brussels or Geneva can do anything about.
They shattered Napster into millions of little pieces spread across computers all around the globe. And now, if you want to shut it down, you have to track down every single one of them and turn it off. And they just can't do that. You know, they send out letters every month trying to shut down a couple here and there, but it just doesn't work. You know, there are just too many. It's out of the bag now. Once it's that far distributed, it's really going to be hopeless.
You can sue people forever. You can sue a handful of college students, university students in the United States. You can sue the investors of Napster, in Napster. You can sue the company that provided the software for Kazaa, but it doesn't shut anything down.
We recognize and we know that we will never stop piracy.
Kazaa lost a big case in the United States in the Supreme Court. Kazaa and Grokster and a set of other companies. So those companies no longer operate, but the network still works. In other words, the interface is still installed on millions of computers and people still use them.
Never stop piracy.
The music industry, if they want to stop file sharing, there's no central computer for them to go to and shut it down. They have to go all the way to the ends of every wire. They have to snip all the cords across the globe.
So when the Pirate Bay got shut down last year and during the raid, Amsterdam Information Exchange, AM6, reported that 35% of all the European internet traffic just vanished in a couple of hours.
The files have been shared. There's no way back. You can't. It's not about shutting down BitTorrent. It would be about confiscating everyone's hard drives. The files are out there. They have been downloaded. They're down. There's no up anymore. They're all down.
Never, never, never.
You know, there's nobody you can go to and say, shut down the file sharing. The internet's just not built that way.
We're surrounded by images. Every day, everywhere. There's nothing you can do about it. But the problem with these images is that they're not yours. People's lives are determined by images that they have no rights to whatsoever. And let's say it's a very unfortunate situation.
There's this work of mine that people have described as a series of unattainable women. In fact, it's a series of unattainable images.
The one last mission of cinema is to make sure that images are not seen. That's why we have DRM, copy protection, rights management, region coding, all that stuff. But if an image is seen, then it tells you one thing. It's not your image, it's their image.
You'll never have me.
It's none of your business. Don't copy it, don't modify it, just forget about it. You can't just say, hey, it's just the movies. It is reality. It's a very specific reality of properties.
Radio, television, newspapers, film. At the heart of all of them, there is a very clear distinction between the producer and the consumer. And the idea was a very, very static one, that here is a technology that allows me to communicate to you, but it's not really a conversation that one has in mind.
It used to be if you had a radio station or television station or a printing press, you could broadcast your views to a very large number of people at quite a bit of expense, and a fairly small percentage of the population was able to do that.
The materials were produced by some set of professional commercial producers who then controlled the experience and located individuals at the passive receiving end of the cultural conversation.
I'm John Wayne. We believe in many things, but I'm John Wayne.
If you wanted to change the way the television broadcast network works, good luck. You're going to have to get the majority of the shareholders to agree with you, or you're going to have to replace some very expensive equipment.
In the world of that universe where you needed to get distribution, there were gatekeepers that stood in your way.
I know that there's gatekeepers out there at every level, by the way. Certainly production, funding, exhibition, they can get fucked as far as I'm concerned.
You would need to satisfy the lawyer for the network or the lawyer for the television station or radio station that what you've done is legal and cleared and permissions have been obtained and probably insurance has been obtained before you could get into the channels of mass media communication.
The number of people who could actively speak was relatively small, and they were organized around one of the only two models we had in the industrial period to collect enough physical capital necessary to communicate, either the state or the market, usually based on advertising.
This is the question that faces us today. If the battle against sharing is already lost, and media is no longer a commodity, how will society change?